Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm a licensed clinician, and we're here talking about everyday things that impact our mental health and fitness. So we are about a week and a half-ish into the new year by the time this video airs, and we've been talking about some coping skills and what they are, what they aren't, coping strategies. And I've been thinking a little bit about just like where to go from here. And I know that the new year is often a time of turning over a new leaf, trying to drive towards some changes that you've wanted. And oftentimes, also in the wintertime, the weather kind of makes us second guess all of our life choices sometimes. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about careers. Um, how do you know what you want to do either after you retire from your whatever current career you're in, or if you're just kind of a little bit lost and seeking, or if you're just burnt out in the area that you work in right now, how do you know what to do next? One exercise that I did a very long time ago that I don't even remember where I heard about it, but I found it really helpful, was on one page or piece of paper or page in your notebook or whatever, write down the skills that you have. So that would be trainings, degrees, education, things like that. Like those like hard skills. And then on another piece of paper, write down things that you enjoy doing, passions, hobbies, you know, whatever. I think on mine, I had like, I really enjoyed reading and swimming and the outdoors and wildlife and stuff like that. So, just things that you enjoy, hobbies that you're interested in, engaged in. Um, and then on another page, things that you are passionate about, but like concepts, right? So, I feel like for a lot of people, helping people is something that they're passionate about, or connection with others, or um, honestly, it could be working alone, like taking on like independent projects and growing, self growth, self awareness, things along those lines. And so you kind of like take a look at these four pieces of paper and you pull out the things that, through the filter of like careers, right? Um, what what kind of stands out? Not together, but just individually from each page. So for me, a hobby that I really enjoy, I guess, hobby, I don't know if I would call it a hobby, but an activity that I really enjoy is swimming. Would I want to make swimming into a career? Um, if you asked me that when I was like 13, 14, sure. I would have been all about like, hey, look, let's go to the Olympics, like let's do this. Now, later in life, I wouldn't want to make it a career. I don't want to have that pressure on it. It's something that I enjoy. That's a release for me. So I wouldn't pick that as the one on that page that stands out the most, right? So you're looking at it through a career filter, like, hey, like what are some things that sounds like it would be great and feasible long term to do on a regular basis as my career. Knowing also that oftentimes the things that we choose as a career can become almost like feeling like a chore, right? There's going to be ups and downs. It's not always going to be like this like great high, right? I can love reading and decide that like, hey, you know what? Like what I want to do as a career is proofreading or editing. And then, going through some people's work might be a little bit of a slog and it might not be the most enjoyable thing, right? So kind of keeping that in mind that there's a real, like a reality to it as well. But going through and doing that, and then kind of taking a look at the things that you've pulled from each piece of paper and seeing if either they kind of like come together into some other career field or some job within your field that you can like switch and do, or maybe it's something that gives you an idea to fulfill a need in the world. And that could also be another piece of paper if you really want it to, where you kind of like write down like what are some needs that I see in the world, like what things need to change, and then maybe by using that to kind of inform everything else, um, together at the end when you're doing it, you can kind of see like, okay, well, I've identified some of these gaps and needs in the world, and I also have this skill set and these passions and these hobbies, and how do I marry all of this together? And maybe it's something that like you just like create a niche for yourself somewhere. And then also from that, thinking about starting to do some research. Like, is there actually like this job description or this field in existence right now? Um, I feel like every day I learn about different jobs that I never knew about when I was younger, just because it wasn't um, the stuff that was talked about that much, or because of lack of social media. If you grew up in a mostly working class neighborhood, then those are the jobs that you were exposed to. You know what I mean? So, we have the internet at our fingertips. So start Googling and see if you can reach out to some people who actually work in that field or in that field adjacent, and pick their brains. See if you can shadow them for a day or two, or maybe collaborate with them to create a new organization or a new company or a new job description, and then see where you go from there. And that might not be something that turns into a full-on career like tomorrow, but it might be something that you can grow into something that will be fulfilling for you post retirement or part-time, while you're kind of still trying to grow it. So then having this like long-term business model kind of built on that can be really helpful as well. So this way you're not trying to push it too far too fast. And then you also have the security of whatever job you're in right now. But it kind of also reduces some of that disgruntlement in whatever career you're in right now or whatever job you're in right now, because you have kind of like that end in sight and you're actively working towards something that you're a little bit more passionate about. So you can take the time in between to start building connections, start building, marketing and all of that stuff. So that is my advice for thinking about or reassessing where you are career wise, and if there is something different to be done, what that might mean for you. So let me know, what career are you in now? And if you could have any other career, what would it be?